At what age should you concern yourself with what pitches you throw and how your arsenal starts to form? I'm Tyler Zombro with Tread Athletics, and let's dive into that. So as much as we've talked about pronation, supination bias and how that impacts arsenal development, I want to take a lot of steps back here and talk about this from the ground floor. We talk about anatomy and physiology, your anatomical makeup, how that impacts you and arsenal development, but it's important to determine at what age is that appropriate. So I like to often reference anatomical age. So within that, if you're a 12-year-old, you're gonna have so many changes coming your way, both in terms of your growth plates, joint integrity, movement patterns, what you look like mechanically. And that's the part of this is there are so many mechanical variabilities here where maybe your arm action timing's way off, you haven't found your slot yet. I'm gonna put the age at 20 years old. Until you are 20, I probably don't have a really good understanding of, are you a pronator or supinator? Because there are so many variables, again, in the delivery that impact how you're imparting force to the ball. So when you're really young, I definitely would not say, hey, I'm a supinator, I'm gonna throw a sweeper, or I shouldn't pronate a changeup, whatever it might be. It's just too early to tell in that phase. And believe it or not, even professionals who are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, you'll see this change within them. They'll go from 100% efficient to 90%, 80%, maybe back to 100. Again, there are way too many variables here with a guy's anatomical makeup. So until your anatomical age and you are developed into a 20-year-old from a physical standpoint, I really wouldn't put a lot of stock in being a pronator or supinator and really trying to say, this is the arsenal I have to go with, because there's so much change that can still happen. And ultimately, if you handcuff yourself by thinking about, I'm a pronator, I need a vert fastball, I'm gonna throw a gyro and pronate a changeup, in reality, this could change within the course of weeks, months, etc. And again, I really want to iterate, mechanical flaws can impact this because there's so much variation in the timing for these young kids. In terms of worrying about what pitches you should throw, I would say not until you're a couple years into college should you really concern yourself with that. That's why I really like the idea of long toss, figuring out freedom of movement patterns for you, a lot of self-organization to problem solve for you and your body and how your arm works best. We talked about slot and how that corresponds to arsenal. Maybe you don't know what slot is best for you yet. Are you better rotationally? Are you better more tilty? Are you more linear, more rotational? You have to really wait for those variables to solve themselves here. So give yourself a lot of runway on that. And I don't think that you should be determining any pronation or supination bias at a really young age. So as much as we would like for kids to perfect their arsenal at 12, 13, 14, it's completely irrelevant. Just throw the ball naturally how they do at that age. Do not force breaking ball shapes on any kid at that age, as that can do more harm than good, and just let them run their course. Just had an interview with Alan Jaeger about this, and I said if I have a kid, I honestly don't know if I would force a shape on him or force any data on him until he's 18, 19. Heck, I don't even know if I'd let him pitch until he was that age. So that's just something to consider. Don't force somebody into that way too soon. Give it some runway, and then we can figure out refining the arsenal with pronation, supination biases. So that's a little bit about anatomical age and how that will impact. But in the meantime, do not stress about arsenal development with these kids. Let them flourish, find their organic patterns, and then we can take it from there. So just wanted to film that video for a little bit of an overview. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.